Shocking family betrayal and heartbreak exposed. It was 7:42 p.m. on a sweltering Thursday in Rancho Cucamonga when my phone buzzed with a message from Mia, my 18-year-old niece. I, Gregory, 39, had always been protective of her, especially since her parents divorced 2 years ago. The moment I saw her name pop up with just 3 words, "I need help," my stomach sank. Mia had always been smart, the kind of girl who could charm her teachers and leave adults dumbfounded with her wit. But something in the tone of that text made my heart tighten. I dropped my cold glass of iced tea on the granite countertop, splashing condensation across my laptop, and grabbed my keys. Pulling into her neighborhood at 8:15 p.m, I noticed her car wasn't in the driveway. Only the streetlights flickered, casting shadows that made the manicured lawns look ghostly. I rang her doorbell, and when she opened it, her eyes were red, mascara streaked down her cheeks, clutching a crumpled envelope in her hand. "Uncle Greg," she whispered, voice cracking. "I think I messed everything up." I stepped inside, trying to mask the anxiety gnawing at me. "Hey, Mia, calm down, sit, tell me what happened." She shook, sliding the envelope across the coffee table. Inside were photos of her and her boyfriend, Kevin, in positions far too intimate for someone still in high school. My stomach dropped further as I counted the money in the background of one picture, $2,300. A small fortune for a kid her age. What is this?" I stammered. Her lip trembled. "I borrowed money from him. I thought I could pay it back, but it's all gone." My heart pounded. My niece, my baby niece, had just crossed a line I never thought she would. Not only was she risking her safety with this older guy, but she had also entangled herself in something financially reckless and morally devastating. I looked at her, searching for any sign that this was a joke, a prank, anything. But her wide eyes and trembling fingers betrayed genuine panic. "We need to fix this, Mia, now," I said firmly. "Tell me everything." She swallowed hard, voice barely above a whisper. He said if I didn't pay him back, he'd tell your sister, and then everyone would hate me. I didn't know who else to ask." My heart clenched, not for the money, not even for the betrayal, but for the raw fear in her eyes. I realized then how fragile these bonds were, how quickly trust could shatter within a family. And as I stared at the photos, my phone vibrated again. Another message. This time, it was from Kevin. "How'd you shoot the pictures? Meet me at the corner of Foothill and Banyan in 10 minutes. Come alone." My hand shook. I knew Mia's heartbreak wasn't just emotionally, it was about to explode into something much more dangerous. And that's when I noticed the shadow moving across her bedroom window, something or someone watching. The street outside was eerily quiet as I parked 2 blocks from Mia's house, the engine ticking as it cooled. Rancho Cucamonga's night air was thick, the kind that clung to your skin and made every sound a dog barking, distant sirens seem amplified. I kept glancing at my phone, debating whether to call the cops or confront Kevin myself. "Uncle Greg, please don't go," Mia pleaded from the doorway, her voice trembling. He'll. "I know," I said, cutting her off gently. "That's why I need to handle this. I can't let him manipulate you anymore." She nodded, biting her lip as if she were trying to swallow her panic. Her small hands fidgeted with the hem of her hoodie, and I noticed a faint bruise forming on her forearm. My stomach twisted. Something told me this wasn't just about money. I approached the corner Karen had specified, my sneakers crunching on the gravel sidewalk. The streetlights flickered over cracked asphalt, illuminating a black sedan parked too perfectly in the shadows. A man stepped out tall, broad-shouldered, with a smirk that didn't reach his eyes. "You Gregory?" His voice was smooth but edged with something threatening. "I am, and I suggest you step back before you make a mistake." I tried to sound confident, but inside, my pulse was a drumbeat of rage and fear. Kevin laughed, circling me like a predator. "Funny, I didn't think your little niece had someone looking out for her, but here you are. You know, $2,300 isn't exactly small change for a kid." I clenched my fists. "You're done manipulating her. Give me back the money, and we walk away." He shook his head, tossing the envelope I'd seen at Mia's house in the air and catching it with ease. "It's not that simple. She owes me trust now, and trust is priceless." Before I could react, my phone vibrated. A text from my sister, Mia's mother. "Gregory, call me now. Something's happened. Mia." My stomach dropped. The words cut off mid-sentence, leaving a heavy pause in my mind. I turned to face Kevin, but the man was gone. In his place, my niece. She had slipped out of the house behind me, standing at the end of the block with tears streaming down her face. But something was off, her hands weren't empty. She held a small black USB drive. "What's that, Mia?" I asked, moving closer. She glanced away, voice shaking. I think I found out why he's doing this. It's not just money. Uncle Greg, he's involved with my mom, with her new fiancé. He's been using us to cover something bigger." My blood ran cold. My sister's fiancé? The man I'd trusted to protect Mia? Suddenly, the heartbreak was no longer just about teenage mistakes, it was a web of family betrayal I hadn't seen coming. The streetlights flickered again, and a car slowly rolled past. Evan. Watching. Waiting. I realized that Mia's innocent heartbreak had pulled us both into a storm of deceit far larger than either of us had imagined. And then I noticed the envelope had shifted slightly in her hand. It wasn't just money in there. Something else. Something that could ruin lives. Mia held the envelope tightly, knuckles white, as if it contained her very life. I reached out cautiously. Mia, let me see it, please. She hesitated, then handed it over. Inside, along with the $2,300, were printed emails, receipts, and a stack of Polaroids. My heart sank as I flipped through them. There were messages between her mom's fiancé Jeff and Kevin discussing payments, favors, and secret meetings at local motels. Polaroids showed Jeff handing envelopes of cash to Kevin, always under the cover of night. I didn't know, Uncle Greg, Mia whispered, tears streaking her face. I just thought Kevin was, taking advantage of me. I didn't know he was working with him. I swallowed hard, a cold anger rising in my chest. This is worse than I thought. Your mom needs to know. And Jeff. I clenched the envelope. He's going down. We decided to head back to the house quietly. The night air was heavy, the faint scent of barbecue from nearby backyards making the tension almost surreal. I kept glancing over my shoulder, half expecting Kevin to jump out and snatch me back into his twisted game. Inside the house, Mia collapsed onto her bed, burying her face in her pillows. I called my sister immediately, trying to keep my voice steady. Emily, it's Gregory. We need to talk, now. There was a pause. Then her panicked voice, Greg, what happened? Is Mia okay? She's fine for now, but you need to sit down. I have proof of something serious, something that involves Jeff. Her silence lasted long enough to make me sweat. Finally, she whispered, oh my God, Gregory, I had no idea. I held the envelope tightly, feeling the weight of betrayal. My sister's fiancé, the man we'd welcomed into our family, had been manipulating my niece, exploiting her for money and leverage. My mind raced. How long had this been going on? How much did they plan to take before we found out? And then Mia spoke, breaking the tense silence. Uncle Greg, there's more. Kevin, he said something weird before he left. He mentioned my dad, my real dad. He said Jeff needed me for a reason he couldn't tell anyone, that it was connected to inheritance money. I froze. Mia's father had died 5 years ago. The thought that someone would manipulate her for that alone, the very thing that could secure her future, made my blood run cold. Suddenly, there was a sharp knock at the front door. I went to peek through the blinds. Outside, illuminated by the porch light, was a figure I hadn't expected, my sister, Emily. But her expression was unreadable, almost hollow. Mia, she said softly as she stepped inside. We need to talk. All of this is bigger than any of us imagined. And as she pulled out her phone, a photo flashed across the screen, one that made me stagger back in disbelief. It was Mia, alone, at Jeff's office, last week, smiling, holding a signed check for $50,000. The room went silent. My niece's heartbreak had just uncovered a betrayal far more twisted than any of us were ready to face. The image on Emily's phone burned itself into my mind. $50,000. Signed by Jeff. And Mia smiling like it was some kind of game. My chest tightened as I tried to process it. Why would she do that? I asked, voice barely above a whisper. Emily's eyes filled with tears, but there was a hardness behind them. Greg, I didn't want to believe it either, but Jeff, he's been manipulating her from the start. He promised me the inheritance money, said it was her only way to help the family, then she thought she was helping. Mia peeked from behind her bedroom door, trembling. Uncle, I didn't know it was wrong. He told me it was for everyone. I just wanted to fix things to make it right. I ran my hands through my hair. Mia, you've been used, not just by Kevin, but by someone we trusted. This is worse than I imagined. He's playing all of us. Emily pulled me aside, her voice low. Greg, there's more. Jeff isn't just greedy. He's been hiding family secrets, things about Mia's dad, about the real inheritance, about why he married me. I felt my stomach churn. What secrets? She hesitated, glancing at Mia, who was quietly sobbing on her bed. Jeff, he's not just after money. He's been covering up debts, shady business deals, and he used me to manipulate my family. The inheritance is not what we thought. Some of it is gone, and he's planning to siphon the rest through Kevin. I clenched my fists, the anger and disbelief mingling into something almost physical. So every move, every threat, every promise, it was all part of his plan, using Mia, using us to cover his tracks. Emily nodded, her lips pressed tightly together. Yes, and if we don't act fast, Mia, all of this could ruin her, and us. I looked at my niece, fragile and betrayed, the weight of deception pressing down on her young shoulders. My protective instinct screamed at me. I had to fix this. I had to stop Jeff and Kevin before any more damage was done. Then Mia whispered something that made my blood run cold. Uncle, I think someone inside our own family has been helping him. I froze. My mind raced through every conversation, every suspicious glance, every unexplained favor. Could it be someone I trusted? Someone who had been watching, waiting, feeding Jeff information about us. The thought of betrayal from within was unbearable. And before I could even ask, Emily's phone buzzed with a new message. Her face paled as she read it. It was a photo of me again, but this time she was at our own family accountant's office. The caption read, "Keep playing your part, or next time it's your choice to disappear." A chill ran down my spine. Someone was orchestrating this from the inside. Someone we loved. And Mia's heartbreak had just opened the door to a betrayal that went far deeper than I could have ever imagined. I looked at Emily, voice tight with anger and fear. We need to find out who, now, before it's too late. And at that moment, a sound came from upstairs, a door slamming, followed by the faint, unmistakable sound of someone whispering Mia's name. I raced upstairs, heart hammering, to find Mia crouched by her dresser, shaking. A shadow moved across the hallway outside her bedroom door, and the faint click of a lock echoed. My blood ran cold. Mia, stay calm, I shouted, fumbling for the baseball bat I kept by the closet. She looked up, eyes wide, as if I'd just caught her in the middle of a nightmare she couldn't escape. The door creaked open slowly. To my disbelief, it was Uncle Tony, my older brother. His normally kind face was twisted, eyes darting nervously. In his hands, he held a thick manila envelope, the same one Mia had shown me earlier. Tony, what the hell are you doing? I demanded, my voice low but fierce. He froze, swallowing hard. Greg, I can explain. I tightened my grip on the bat. Explain? You've been feeding Jeff information? Using Mia? Using all of us? Mia trembled behind me. Uncle Tony, is this true? He looked down at her, guilt and desperation in his eyes. It wasn't supposed to go this far. I just wanted to protect the family, to make sure we didn't lose everything. Jeff, he had plans, and I thought I could control it. My fist clenched so hard my knuckles cracked. Control it, Tony. You handed my niece over to a predator for money and leverage. $50,000. How could you? He took a step forward, but I swung the bat toward the floor. Stay back. I don't care if you're family. You betrayed us. Mia sobbed. Why would you do this? You were supposed to protect me. Tony's shoulders slumped. I thought I was. I really did. I never meant for you to get hurt, Mia. I thought I could fix everything from the inside. The realization hit me like a physical blow. The heartbreak I'd been trying to shield Mia from wasn't just teenage mistakes, it was orchestrated betrayal, manipulation, and greed from someone I trusted completely. Emily appeared at the top of the stairs, holding her phone like a weapon. Tony, this ends now. You're done. Every deal, every lie, it stops tonight. Tony glanced between us, panic rising. Greg, you don't understand. Jeff, he'll... I stepped forward, voice steadily calm. I understand perfectly. He won't get another chance, and neither will you. If you truly cared about Mia, you'd hand over everything you've hidden and confess to Mom. He hesitated, then slowly placed the envelope on the floor. Inside were more receipts, emails, and photos evidence of years of collusion. Mia looked at me, eyes red, her voice barely audible. Uncle, everything's falling apart. I nodded, pulling her into a protective hug. Yes, but we'll get through this, and everyone responsible will pay. You're not alone anymore. As we stood there, the sound of tires squealing outside made me glance out the window. A black sedan, the same one Kevin had driven, was parked across the street. Its engine idled, and then the headlights went out. I grabbed Mia's hand and pulled her to the window. The black sedan was gone, just an empty street bathed in the flickering yellow glow of the streetlights. My heart didn't settle. Whoever was out there wasn't finished. Rancho Cucamonga had never felt so small, so exposed, as if the entire neighborhood was conspiring against us. Emily and I started sifting through Tony's envelope. There were spreadsheets with numbers totaling over $120,000, secret bank accounts, and even notarized documents showing Jeff's manipulation of Mia's inheritance. Kevin had been his middleman the entire time. The sheer scale of it made my head spin. Mia sank onto the couch. I can't believe this. Uncle Tony, Jeff, Kevin, all of them using me, for money, for control, for everything. Her voice cracked, tears rolling down her cheeks. I trusted everyone. I sat beside her, gripping her shoulder. I know, Mia, but now we know the truth. That's the first step. We'll fix this, I promise. Emily interjected, voice firm. Craig, we need to expose them publicly. Legal action, everything, before they have a chance to cover it up again. I nodded. Agreed, but we need strategy. They're dangerous, and they've proven they'll go to extreme lengths to protect themselves. Just then, my phone vibrated. A text from an unknown number. Stop digging, or Mia pays the price tonight. Mia froze. They know we have the evidence. Emily looked at me, her face pale. Greg, we can't wait. They'll come for her. I felt a cold fury surge. No, they weren't. Not while I'm standing. We're taking this to the police tonight. Every receipt, every photo, every document, and Kevin and Jeff and anyone helping them, they're going down. Justice won't be denied. Mia's hand gripped mine. Uncle, will it be enough? I looked at her, really looked at her, the betrayal, the heartbreak, the fear, and made a silent vow. It will. We'll make sure no one ever uses you like that again. The sound of footsteps on the porch made all of us freeze. I motioned for silence. Emily peeked through the blinds, and my stomach dropped. Kevin and a man I didn't recognize, muscular, wearing a ski mask, were moving toward the front door. I grabbed a flashlight and held it like a weapon. Stay behind me, I whispered to Mia. Kevin's eyes met mine through the doorway, his smirk gone, replaced with a cold, calculating glare. You think you've won, Gregory? This isn't over. And before I could react, the man in the mask stepped forward, reaching for the door handle. I realized then The storm wasn't over. It was only just beginning. I slammed the door shut, swinging the deadbolt and yanking the chain lock into place. May clung to me, shaking, and Emily dialed 911, her voice sharp and steady despite the fear in her eyes. "We have intruders, armed. They know about the evidence. Send officers immediately." Kevin pounded on the door, screaming, "Open up. You don't know who you're messing with." His voice was raw, almost desperate. I took a deep breath, keeping my grip tight on the bat. "You've been warned. Back off, or I swear." Footsteps retreated outside, and for a tense moment, silence reigned. Then a faint crash. Someone had tried the back door. I ran to the window, catching a glimpse of Tony, slinking down the alley behind our house, holding his phone. He looked at me, and I saw the realization in his eyes. He was trapped in the chaos he had helped create. Within minutes, police cars screamed into the cul-de-sac. Lights flashed red and blue across the walls of our home. Officers swarmed the property, securing both the front and back. Kevin and his masked accomplice were apprehended in a matter of moments, caught trying to flee in the black sedan. Mia hugged me tight, sobbing, and I whispered, "It's over. They can't hurt you anymore." Later, at the police station, Emily and I handed over every single piece of evidence: emails, photos, receipts, the envelope from Tony. Confessions spilled from him like a broken dam. He revealed how he had been manipulating Mia for months, feeding Jeff information, and covering their tracks while trying to justify it as protecting the family. Mia's heartbreak had been real, but her courage had uncovered the betrayal at the very heart of our family. Jeff and Kevin were both arrested for conspiracy, fraud, and endangering a minor. Tony faced charges for aiding and abetting the crimes, though the court took his eventual cooperation into account. At home that night, the house was quiet. Mia sat on the couch, wrapped in a blanket, still processing everything. I knelt beside her, holding her hands. "You were brave," I said softly. "You didn't deserve any of this, but because of you, the truth came out. We stopped them." She looked up at me, tear-streaked but resolute. "Uncle Greg, I just wanted everyone to love me, to trust me. I never thought anyone in our family could betray me like this." I hugged her tightly. "Mia, sometimes the ones closest to us make the biggest mistakes, but we survived, and we'll rebuild together." As the night settled over Rancho Cucamonga, I felt a weight lift. Justice had been served, betrayal exposed, and Mia's heartbreak, though profound, had sparked the unraveling of lies that could have destroyed us all. And in the quiet of that living room, I finally realized protecting her wasn't about stopping her mistakes, but about standing with her when the world turned cruel and dark. She squeezed my hand and whispered, "Thank you for never giving up on me." And in that moment, I knew the family I fought to protect wasn't perfect, but we were stronger than the lies that tried to break us.